and welcome to the live streaming of the First Unitarian Church of Hobart. My name is Barb Langle. I've been a member of this congregation for only about a little over a year and a half. In March of 2019, I started attending the church, and 2 months later, in May, I became a member. Immediately after joining, I became a member of the Membership Caring Ministry. I'm also a member of Faith in Action. In this congregation, I have found a welcoming and caring community, a home. We are a theologically diverse community of people with shared values. Our diverse beliefs are expressed in our 6 sources and our 7 principles, both which can be found online. Together, we strive to grow spiritually, build community, and live our values in the world. We are currently in search for a full-time minister. While we do not have a minister in the pulpit, we invite guests or members to share a special message with us. This is one such Sunday. Today, we are fortunate enough to hear from member Karen Livengood. Karen has attended the church since 2002, and she became a member in 2011. Karen is a co-chair of the Membership Caring Ministry and has been on the board since 2017. We also have 3 readings presented by members Jeff Kine, Tim Cook, and Beth Porch. Carla Banks will share the closing words and close out the service. During this time of responsible social distancing, we are striving to maintain the authenticity of our services. The bell you heard ringing was our actual bell, which was recorded by Bob Allen. The chalice, which you will see being lit today, is our actual chalice, which is we thank James Johnson. The music you hear is recorded each week by our music director, Jeremy Jacobson. If you are willing and able, we invite you to leave your Zoom cameras on so your fellow congregants can see you, just as they would if you were physically present. There will be a time in the service where you will all be unmuted briefly to say good morning to one another. We are currently streaming live on Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. Our service is recorded and will be made available for future viewing on Facebook, YouTube, and our church website. This is all made possible by our technical crew consisting of John Halstead, James Johnson, and Valerie Lambert. So now let your Facebook and Twitter friends know that you are attending worship with hashtag First Unitarian, Church of Hobart, Indiana. Now let's take a breath and join together in the spirit of reverence. And now join me for the lighting of the chalice. The words are on your screen. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. The opening words are from the Daily Inspiration, Wisdom, and Courage by Cindy Spiegel. Cindy is an inspirational speaker and author. I was given her book a couple years ago by my daughter, and I go to it almost every morning for a daily pick-me-up. So the words are, can I? Yes. The answer is yes. There's no reason you couldn't. You absolutely can. You could, you should. Go on, do it. Remember this whenever you are questioning your capability. The answer is always yes. And now for our opening hymn. The words will be on your screen.
Come thou fount of every blessing, tune our hearts to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Around the heart bound love's perfection fills our hearts with joys and love. Teach us ever to be faithful. May we still thy good news prove. Come thou fount of every vision, lift our eyes to what may come. See the lion and the young lamb dwell together in thy home. Hear the cries of war for silence, feel our love grow like the sun when we all serve one another. Then our heaven is begun. Come thou fount of inspiration, turn our lives to higher ways. Lift our gloom and desperation, show the promise of this day. Help us bind ourselves in union, help our hands tell of our love with thy natal fount of justice. Earth be fair as heaven above.
And now join me for the affirmation of faith. The words are on your screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is a sacrament. Service is its prayer, and this is our covenant. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. You will be briefly unmuted to say hi to your neighbor. You may bow or wave to one another as the Spirit moves you. Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Hi. Good
Morning.
to see you.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Join me in singing the doxology. The words are on your screen.
From all that dwell below the sky, then songs of hope and faith arise.
Unable to gather in person, we express our greatest joys and deepest sorrows in new ways. Type in the chat box any joys or concerns you have. They will not be made public. If the chat box is not visible to you, click chat at the bottom of your screen. If you are on a phone, click participants, then chat. We honor the joys and sorrows that we choose to share, along with those so tender that they remain unspoken, but within our hearts. The story of all ages this Sunday will be a video book. I am proud to say this video was directed by my daughter-in-law, Rachel Street, and starring my delightful granddaughter, Apple Street. Rachel is a drama and film teacher in the Seattle, Washington school system, and Apple is the apple of my eye. So enjoy.
What do you do with an idea? Written by Colby Yamada. Illustrated by May Besson. What do you do with an idea? One day I had an idea. Where did it come from? Why is it here? I wondered, what do you do with an idea? At first I didn't think much of it. It seemed kind of strange and fragile. I didn't know what to do with it. So I just walked away from it. I acted like it didn't belong to me. It followed me. I worried what others would think. What would people say about my idea? I kept it to myself. I hid it away and didn't talk about it. I tried to act like everything was the same. I tried to act like everything was the same before my idea showed up. But there was something magical about my idea. I felt better and happier in it. It wanted food. It wanted to play. Actually, it wanted a lot of attention. It grew bigger and we became friends. I showed it to other people even though I was afraid what they would say. I was afraid if people saw it they would laugh at me. I was afraid they would think it was silly. And many of them did. They said it was no good. They said it was too weird. They said it was a waste of time. And that it will never become anything. I actually thought about giving up on my idea. I almost listened to them. Then I realized, what do they really know? This is my idea, I thought. No one knows it like I do. It's okay if it's different and weird and a little crazy. I decided to protect it and care for it. I fed it good food. I worked with it, I played with it, but most of all I gave it my attention. My idea grew and grew up, and so did my love for it. I built a new house, one with an open roof, where it could look up in the stars. A place where it could be safe to dream. I liked being with my idea. It made me feel more alive, like I could do anything. It encouraged me to think big and then bigger. It shared its secrets with me. It showed me how to walk on my hands. Because it said, it's good to have ability to see things differently. I couldn't imagine my life without it. Then one day, something amazing happened. My idea changed right before my very eyes. Spread its wings, took flight, and burst into the sky. I don't know how to describe it. It went from being here to everywhere. It wasn't just a part of me anymore. It was now the part of every part. And then I realized what you do with an idea. You change the world. Never ever walk away from your idea and never ever act like it's not yours.
Great advice. Thank you.
That was an outstanding story for all ages. Moving on here. The first reading today is from retired UU minister Reverend J. E. Abernathy. Love is our greatest purpose. We affirm that love is our greatest purpose. Accepting one another is the truest form of faithful living. The search for truth is our constant star. We pledge our hearts, minds, and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to find hope in time of fear, and to live out our Unitarian Universalist values every day as a beloved community. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in life.
The following words are from UU Minister Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein. In the bonds of fellowship and love, we unite to cultivate, to promote spiritual growth and ethical commitment, to minister to each other's needs and those of humanity, to celebrate the sacred moments of life's passages, and to honor the holiness at the heart of being.
Our third reading, am I unmuted? I'm an idiot. Okay. Our third reading today is from Starhawk, from Dreaming the Dark, Magic, Sex, and Politics. Community means strength. We are all longing to go home to some place we have never been, a place half remembered and half envisioned we can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing, a circle of friends, someplace where we can be free.
Good morning and hello from Silver Spring, Maryland, where I've had the joy of sharing the holidays with my son, his wife, and my youngest granddaughter, 2.5-year-old Juniper. The trip was not planned, but a result of my son calling with a desperate request for my assistance. They were facing some serious health issues, both him and his wife, and they needed some help to watch their daughter, Juniper. And of course, that's a lot of fun to do, tiring, but fun. So giving the okay, I made the decision to drive 10 hours from Indianapolis to the Washington, D.C. area. It wasn't a bad drive. It's pretty much a straight shot on 70. And I made a minimum of stops, very carefully when using the washrooms along the way and making sure I was careful when I had to get more gas for the car. And fortunately, things are continuing to improve. And hopefully I will be coming back soon. I thought I was only going to be here for a week, but that stretched into 2 weeks and now 3 weeks. So meanwhile, I've had the experience of reliving those days when my own children were young, and that night before Christmas, and the staying up late at night trying to assemble last minute toys and wrap last minute gifts. So it was a very nostalgic time for me. And I really was glad that I had that opportunity. And I now appear through the so-called magic of technology, or as I call it, the result of science and the hard work of scientists. And as already has been said, our thanks go out to those who make our continuing contact with each other possible. I too watched the Vesper service on Christmas Eve. It was beautiful and it was very nostalgic to me because I remembered all of the Vesper services that I had attended earlier and even been a part of. My thanks to the Porters and Jeremy and Nolan and Richard and the choir. It was really lovely and I enjoyed it so much. But now we come to the last Sunday service of 2020, a year like no other in our lives. And the Membership Caring Committee is doing the presentation for this service. So today you have heard from members of the committee and other members of our church congregation. In fact, all of the members of the church are part of the caring community of our congregation. And maybe it is only fitting that our committee is responsible for today's service. In this year of the pandemic, the act of caring for others is paramount, not only for our own well-being, but for the well-being of the whole world. What can we do when so many have suffered? Our humanity is being tested. How grateful we are of those essential workers, the police, the firemen, and the medical people. They are true heroes of this time. And we also are grateful for the other essential workers, those that make sure that we have food on our table, the delivery people and the trash people. I mean, they're all so important in keeping our lives going. Their sacrifice in a time of peril is duly noted. You know, I was born during World War II, and I think my parents had to be questioning what was going on in the world as they were starting a new family. The time is comparable to that time of World War II. Our loss of life at this time is comparable to the loss of life that was suffered during World War II. And yet, during World War II, we came together as a nation. Today, we come together by trying to protect ourselves and others with social distancing, wearing masks, hand washing, sanitizing. All of it seems like a no-brainer, although for some, they don't see it that way. They think their personal freedom is being attacked. But we continue to do what we can because that's part of caring. It's part of the caring mission of our church. Fortunately, our church, I believe, is a caring church. We have caring and we have compassion. It's embedded in the 7 principles of the Unitarian Universalist theology. You know, our first principle is the belief in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And the second principle is belief in justice, equality, and compassion in human relations. Practicing our social distancing, the wearing of masks and so forth, that is practicing caring. In fact, that first principle of the Unitarian Universalist Church is the belief in that inherent worth and dignity of every person, that we are all worthy of caring. And that is implied in that first principle. The second principle in the belief of justice, equality, and compassion in human relations. Again, by our caring interactions, we show compassion and kindness to all. Again, our church has been very good about caring, not just to our own congregation, but to those in the Northwest region with our donations to the food pantry. So perhaps we can reach out to all in the facing of this crisis. How can we do that? Maybe it's a card or an email message or a call. Right now, the Membership Caring Committee or Ministry is working now at making an up-to-date directory of members with the way to reach each other will be easier. Some of you may have already been contacted to make sure that the information we have on file is correct. Our goal is to have an online directory by the end of the January, with hard copies possible even soon after that. I know how meaningful to me when my late husband, Jay, passed away. Chip Roush was the minister when Jay first found out of his illness and came and delivered pastoral care. Then in the summer, when Scott Asage took over as minister, he had barely known Jay, only a short time, and yet his visits to the house with Jay were so comforting to him, and all the rest of the members of the church that reached out and helped. I'm thinking in particular of when Connie, came over, said, "Karen, you need a new cell phone." She took me to get a new cell phone, and Brian stayed with Jay to keep him company. And then later, Dr. Jerry Renault came over with a mower on his flatbed trailer to mow our 5, 6, 7 acres of grassland without asking about it. I mean, he just did it. And Jay really, really appreciated that. But sometimes a kind word or message is all that's needed. I love the idea of our story that talked about ideas. So you may also have ideas about how you can help with those who are in need. Sometimes we don't even realize something that we do may have a lasting effect. And it's a little bit different, but I remember a story that happened, an incident that happened to me a year ago last spring. The father of a family that lived a few doors from my family in Illinois had passed away. And I attended the wake, or as Protestants used to say, the visitation or the gathering of friends and neighbors that is held before the funeral. And many of my old neighbors were there, including some that I had not seen for a long time. And included was a childhood playmate of my children. And when she saw me, she looked at me. She was accompanied by her 9-year-old son. And she said, "This is the lady who gave me the book that we read every night, our favorite book." And I looked at her wondering, what is she talking about? And she said, the Shel Silverstein book, Where the Sidewalk Ends. They read it every night. Who knew that such a gesture, a book given at a birthday party, would have such a lasting effect and comfort to her child? You may have an idea, as the story suggested, that would be a way to share and comfort people. I talked about science earlier, and science says that, yes, we are possibly an accidental collection of amino acids, and that's how we came about. And Darwin's Survival of the Species talks about how we have to procreate and protect our own young, but also sometimes we have to live in a tribe, as a pride of lions would do, to protect the whole group, or a pride of a pack of wolves, or maybe that beehive that attacked my farmhouse structure last year and interrupted my painting and repair work, but they did leave some really delicious honey. So we do have a care for young, and it's being kind. But I believe that we are more than a group of cells. I think we do have compassion, and it goes beyond our group. In fact, what about our 6th and 7th principles? The 6th that says the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Or the 7th principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. So we do care about ourselves, but our families, our church, our region, such as the Northwest region with our food pantry work, our world, because we are Unitarian Universalists. And I love the fact that the Unitarian Church has many sources to achieve our goals for spiritual growth and give us direction in putting our UU principles into practice. 2 weeks ago, Valerie Lambert reminded us of the wisdom of Dr. Seuss, another source that maybe we wouldn't think about as a source of wisdom and of practicing our 7 principles. But yet there's tremendous wisdom in Dr. Seuss. So even those principles, again, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, we carry the potential to do good. As humans, we have the gift to offer love and healing thoughts to others. And in justice, equality, and compassion in human relations, that also is a way to show caring for others. That's something else that the committee or the Ministry of Membership Caring will be addressing, how to practice good human relations and interactions. So in conclusion, I would also like to draw on another source. I mentioned Shel Silverstein earlier, and I went back and I looked at some of his quotes, and one really struck a note with me. It goes, "To me, freedom entitles you to do something, not to not do something. We all can do something. Our UU principles tell us to do something, no matter how significant it may seem. It does matter. It will matter." So again, I repeat that quotation because as a teacher, that's what we do. We repeat and repeat again. Freedom entitles you to do something, not to not do something. And with that, I send you peace and love. Thank you.
Now, while the music plays, you are invited to make a monetary offering. The link you see on your screen is not clickable. The link will be posted in the chat box. You can make an offering anytime after the service on this link as well, or by mailing a check to the church. Thank you. And now for our closing hymn.
As tranquil streams that meet and merge and flow as one to seek the sea, our kindred hearts and minds unite to build the church that shall be free, free from the bonds that bind the mind. Narrow thought and lifeless greed, free from a social code that fails to serve the cause of human need, of freedom that reveres the past but trusts the dawning future more, bids the soul in search of truth adventure boldly and explore.
Our closing words come from the Reverend Harold E. Babcock, minister of the Religious Society of Newburyport, Massachusetts. And may we go forth, and may we go forth in the certainty of faith, in the knowledge of love, in the vision of hope. And in our going, may we be blessed with all good things on this day and forevermore. Amen.
Acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. Should all acquaintance be forgot and ease of all anxiety.
Join me in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Join us for coffee hour starting immediately.
Okay. Thank you, Barb. I finally unmuted. Oh, and thank you, Barb.
Figure out what was going on.
I know. Thank you, Barb, for your leadership, and Karen for your personal words, and Jeremy, what a moving rendition.